What's going on, YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now look, cause we just gonna get into it. This is the episode that we have been waiting for since the summer when all this popped off, right? So I do want to say a couple of things before we get into this. So as I'm expounding, because again, I can look at things from various sides, right? One thing I'm gonna say is if I, okay, say that it's on site, it's on site. On site isn't always that it's physical. If I say the next time I see this person, I'm going to have this discussion, then the next time I see that person, I'm going to have this discussion, regardless of where it's at. That's one thing. Another thing is I'm also a very business slash space minded person where I do realize that not everything needs to be discussed in certain places, situations, or whatever, especially when business is involved. So if I do need to have a conversation with somebody and they're in the mode of conducting business, my instinct is to pull them away, or if I am the person that's doing business and someone is trying to talk to me, is to remove myself from that establishment, remove any paraphernalia that I have on that attaches me to set business, to have whatever, verbal spat or God forbid physical spat that we're having. Remove myself from that so that's not attached to what it is that I'm doing, and I also offer that courtesy to someone else. And last but certainly not least, y'all have heard me say if we at war, nothing is off limits. All right. And Mel even said in this episode, if you go low, I'm going to hell. So if that is your way of thinking, you cannot be mad if somebody else so adopts that same mentality. So with that being said, let's get into this damn review. All right. Had to have me some tea. I was drinking coffee, but I'm already 3 cups in of coffee, so I had to switch to tea, even though this is caffeinated too. But whatever. Anyway, we pick up where we left off. The vehicle that had pulled up, I initially said that I thought that was Melody's vehicle. That was actually Stormy's vehicle. Again, I don't know what people drive, so whatever. Destiny tells her people, so I'm assuming this was the store manager. Because here's the thing, I wasn't doing a whole lot of rewinding to rewatch stuff because I knew I was going to be taking a lot of notes because I literally have 1, 2, 3 pages front to back and 1 page that's just one front. So again, I wasn't doing a whole lot of rewinding. Anyway, she tells her staff that Stormy needs to leave, which is understandable if you really don't want that energy in your store. Now, here's another thing. Going back to what I was saying about doing business and this, that, and the third. I understand her sending out the store manager because she's physically there, but you could have had your store manager take your position and you go outside and say, "Hey, thank you for supporting, but this isn't the time or the place. Can you please leave and we can schedule a time for whatever, whatever, whatever." Like it's not cool to put your employees in a situation or a space like that, even though it appeared that her store manager was trying to get her some camera time. I'm just saying. So Melnika is trying to talk Destiny off the edge and saying to her, "Be the mature person." Though I understand. Now look, I hate when people say be the mature person, be the bigger person, because if it doesn't serve me, I'm not finna do it. But or actually, I'm gonna get to that because I want to go in order. The store manager is telling Stormy, Destiny doesn't want her there because she doesn't want any drama. Stormy says it won't be, and she had to make it a purpose of saying I brought her a Gucci bag and stuff. So the store manager is like, "Oh, well, do you want to give it to her because of the brand name?" And Stormy's like, "No, but you can take her the flowers." And it's just like, okay. So it's showing that you are trying to have a moment at this woman's store. I mean, let's call a thing a thing. Because if that was the case and that was the peace offering, you could have just gave it to the store manager and just let that been what it was. Or just said, you know what, I'll just take this and the next time I see her, I'll give this all to her, right? So then Melnika, goes outside and calms everything down and is like, no, no, she can come in. And Stormy gives Destiny her gift and says, I got you a Gucci purse because I want us to be good. Because, when some people be like, are we Gucci? Are we good? That whole thing. So Destiny says, a very dry, like, she says in a very dry way that she appreciates it and she's being very cold. Now, if you are going to be like this, then you definitely should not have somebody there because, again, let's keep this thing 1,000. All right. If you are having her in there for the sake of business, okay, you have a brand that you are trying to relaunch. Stormy has a brand, and this isn't about kissing anybody's ass, but Stormy has a brand that is making money. So if you're having her in there as I'm trying to keep everything cool and whatnot, you can be a little bit more kinder and not be as cold. Because I'm the type of person, if I don't want you there, I don't care what anybody says, you're not coming in. And if I'm gonna have you in there for business purposes, I know how to turn the switch and go into business mode and keep everything very surface and not bring more attention than what needs to be had. Okay, again, 11 years in the military, it teaches you that thing. All right. So Destiny feels if Stormy really wanted to support her, she wouldn't be the only African American store without her product. Now, with her saying that I understand. But again, that is something that could have been said, and it looks like they're going to have a deeper conversation next episode. And also to the producers, if y'all were going to build up the whole aspect of Stormy and Destiny, we should have never got that clip in what's coming up, and even during the episode of Stormy asking her what's going on, because that breaks up what you're trying to establish. That should have never been put in there. Just saying. So Melnika is saying to, I forget who the group of women are, but says, I can still hate you and take your money. That's business. Facts. Okay. And even amongst other ethnicities, you have ethnicities where they don't deal with each other, but they keep their money within that community. And I don't have to like you to take your money. Okay, I'm gonna take your money and all the other stuff, and I'm gonna smile in your face and everything and doing that. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But if your whole goal is furthering your business, then do that. But also because you're being recorded, with this type of attitude or whatnot, if there is anybody that is wanting to invest in your company, the way that you're conducting yourself can scare off investors. Just saying, you really have to be aware of what you're putting out there, in certain moments. Let me grab my pen because hell, I'm sitting here expounding and I'm forgetting the mark where I'm at. Okay, hold on. So Tisha and Kimmy are talking about the gifts being received. Destiny injects herself, and Destiny says there's nothing to be fixed, and she would give the bag back. And Kimmy was like, not Gucci. And see, and that's that ish that really be getting me, where it's like y'all put so much into these brands, especially a lot of these European American brands / European brands that don't give a fuck about us as a group. Okay, because I mean, look, we can literally go within the last 10 years, and I'm saying that's why I'm saying 10 years, because we can do like the last couple of years, but the last 10 years and see how some of these brands that we put on pedestals, how they don't care about us. But you talking about some not Gucci, Kimmy lost points for me with that. And Destiny doesn't care, but she's being very passive aggressive. Now, here's the other thing with accepting a gift. Hell, this is one of those where it's just like you don't have you can accept the gift and you can just either repurpose it or just go and sell it and get some money back off of it. You don't have to keep it. I mean, it goes back to with Beverly Hills where Garcelle's buying her first Birkin, and Kyle was saying, even if you don't like this Birkin, you can always sell it and possibly sell it for more. This is an investment more than anything. Yeah, it's a fashion piece, but it's an investment. But again, when you some people are not always in a business minded, mentality. Just throwing it out there. Melody shows up with Mama Van, and she walks in and says hi to everyone. But then she says directly to Destiny, which I appreciate because, again, based off of the previews, Destiny was saying Mel didn't speak to me, and Mel did say hi, Destiny. But because I was taking notes, I had wrote in my notes, okay, either Destiny didn't hear her or it was a voiceover, but we see it played back at least 2 more times in the episode. Mel clearly said, and you see her saying it, hi, Destiny. So this was one of those where Destiny was so disturbed, she didn't want to hear it. But it was said. That's going to come back up. So Destiny is upset because she said Mel didn't speak, but she obviously did. Mel talks to Stormy and lets her know that she got about a good 10 minutes and she's out. And I'm thinking what she meant is, I have about 10 minutes in this store. And then I got something else to go to. And Stormy is telling her, well, Wanda's outside. Ashley, am I getting ahead of myself? I am getting ahead of myself. So Destiny being upset is like, I need to speak to my father. So her father, and I believe store manager go into the back room. And she's upset because, well, Mel didn't speak and da. Well, you allowed her to walk into your store. You saw her pull up. If you didn't want her in your store, you could have stopped that. But I think the reason that she pulled that on Stormy is because Stormy's not a main cast member. This is a group scene. So that is why Mel was allowed to come into that store, because this is a group scene. And here's another thing that people need to understand, right? When it comes to these reality shows, especially when there are somewhat group scenes, you want as many people there, because if there are not enough people there, whether there is or isn't drama, that scene may not be showed in the season or in an episode. And for a lot of these reality TV stars, it's in their contracts now where you get paid per episode. So if you're not in that episode, you're not getting paid for it. I.e., if we go back to Monique's last season on Real Housewives of Potomac, her birthday party, she had a birthday party for her son. Karen was the only one to show. We did not even get that. What we got is it was brought up maybe like an episode or two later, and we got a quick flashback. So these events get recorded, but if there's not enough people there, then yeah, it's not going to be shown. If we go to the Aspen trip in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, again, I'm tying all these things together. When Kyle was upset that Dorit did not want to come to her little thing at that one store, I don't want to say name because, it's very racially charged, prejudice amongst other things, and racially insensitive. But this one particular store is because the more people that are there, then that scene can be featured. But she just had a situation with her sister, so that scene was always being done. But that's the thing. So just want to put that out there for those of y'all who don't know. Continuing on. So her store manager asks her, oh, well, do you want me to tell Mel to leave? And this is one of those where I can understand the store manager, trying to be down. But again, you just want to have your time on camera, man. That's all this is. So Stormy says to Mel, she's thrown off by the energy, and she spent 2 stacks on someone she doesn't know. Again, going back to the whole, this is a name brand that I bought you. Now you're seeing the monetary amount. So again, the intention is real messed up. Now Mel says, when you do something good, even if you don't want to, God sees that. Now, that is true, but it's also the intent behind it. Because here's the reality. The intent behind the gesture is a whole totally different thing. Because even if you do a good gesture, if the intent behind it isn't right, you don't get no glorification from the Lord. And y'all know I'm Jewish, but I'm going to go ahead and give y'all some New Testament. When, Jesus was saying, okay, well, if someone is fasting and they're making it known that, hey, I'm fasting, I'm doing this, and they're making it, it's one thing to just be like, no, I can't have that because I'm fasting. It's another thing to like broadcast it, because in doing that, you want the glory for yourself, and that's all the blessings you gonna get is that glory that you want in that moment because you want it for yourself. So I hear what Mel is saying, but based off the intent, no, I don't think Stormy gonna be blessed right there. Now, Mel says they need to do a sound bath, because a sound bowl day because of the energy. Destiny store manager walks up to Mel to get some camera time. Like, do y'all need anything? And it's just like, ma'am, come on now. Now you really showing us that you just want to be on camera. I mean, your manager is your owner is barely on camera. Like, calm down. So Stormy brings up, well, Wanda's potatoes are outside, and Mel is intrigued. But Mel already knew that Wanda was outside. That's why she was saying, I'm only going to be here for 10 minutes. Translation, I'm only going to be inside for 10 minutes because I'm about to go outside and I'm about to say, that's the real reason I came here. Like, I showed up for work, but my main goal is outside. That's what that was. So Martell and Mama Van are talking about him and Mel being on the good foot, very short-lived. The upcoming vacation comes up, and then Mama Van says, the past is the past. She recently did an interview where somebody was saying that, Martell needs to take accountability. Is he taking accountability? And Mama Van's response is, he doesn't, because the past is the past. Bullshit. That right there is an issue that a lot of people need to stop doing, where for the sake of getting past something, or because, my religion tells me this and all that other, so what, I'ma just let it go. And that's good for you, but you still need to hold somebody accountable, because if you don't hold someone accountable, that's letting them know that their behavior, as messed up as it is, because they're not being held accountable, is, oh, okay, well, I did this bad thing. I don't have to take accountability for it, so I can continue to do this. Okay. All right, Mama Van, you lost points with me right there. So Melody and Martell go outside. Destiny takes this. Now, Mel has already walked out the door. Destiny takes this time to say, next time you come into somebody's store, you should say hi. Now, Destiny, here's where you had me messed up. Your face being turned to everything is one thing. If you wanted to say something to her, you should have said it then, right when she walked in, even though you didn't hear her say it. Here's the other thing, though. This is your place of business. Now, we heard stories that after this scene was shot, the doors ain't opened back up since. That ain't my business. But what I'm saying is the fact that you are doing this while you have patrons in the store, even though we're not even gonna do that. You got patrons in the store, that is messing up your business. If you wanted to have that dialogue with Melody, as I said previously, because of business is involved, you remove yourself away from the business and the establishment to have these conversations, so it doesn't bring that to your establishment. Again, when you a business-minded person, you understand these things and you're a little bit more aware of what you're saying and what you're doing. So Melody says, I did, and then says, run the tapes back. And that was a cue for production. When this scene airs, run it back, so you know that I said it. And I'm pretty sure Mel said that intentionally, so to speak to her. Granted, it was doing the nice thing and the respectable thing, but she knew that she did. And of course, they ran it back to show us that she did speak. That's why I kind of crossed that on my notes, but I did mention that because I had my head down writing the notes, and I'm like, maybe either A, Destiny didn't hear her, or that was a voiceover. No, Melody actually did say, hi, Destiny. Okay. And Destiny says, you should have been escorted out like you did Tisha. Should have been and all this other stuff. Like, if that's the case, you should have just did it. Like, come on now. Again, Destiny, you ain't really gave us enough. And the fact that they got you in the opening credits, like, ma'am, I need for you to get right. So Mel goes over to Wanda's area. Now, Mel ain't said nothing to her, and Tisha's gonna allude in the next episode that Mel did a beeline. Not necessarily so. When Mel got over there, you hear Wanda speak to her. And it was in such a way where it's, I'm finna get some stuff started. I could tell by how she spoke to Melody. So this is how this particular scene is starting off, right? Now, Mama Van is not feeling things with Destiny. And Destiny, in essence, well, you can leave, as Mama Van is getting ready to leave. And Mama Van says, you need to straighten up if you want your business to be successful. Now, this is a two-piece right here. Because on one hand, many people can take this as, is Mama Van threatening Destiny from the perspective of, maybe Melody will use her social media platform to directly, indirectly, passive aggressively keep patrons from her business establishment. Possibility, because again, going back to what I was saying about Stormy, if you business minded, again, you ain't got to kiss no ass, but there's a certain way you can conduct business. And again, the way you acting right now, you blocking your own blessing. And here's the reality. Mel ain't got to do nothing because all this is on camera. But I think it's the other part of, y'all know the Bible says, touch not my anointing and do my prophets no harm. See, when you walking in your blessing and when you got the spirit of the Lord on you and you cloaked in his glory, you ain't got to do nothing. Okay, here's a word for somebody, because I think somebody need to hear this. We so much of the time want to have so much control over stuff, and sometimes the Lord just wants you to just throw your hands up, because the Lord can't do what the Lord want to do if you always got your hand on the wheel, if you always want to be in the midst of it. When you just throw your hands up and give it to the Lord, that's when the Lord can show up and show out and show you why he is the Lord. So for somebody, that's probably a situation that you want the Lord's help, but you won't let go. All you gotta do is throw your hands up, step aside, and let God do what God do, and let God show you why God is who God is. But say all that to say, Mama Van ain't gotta do nothing, because Mama Van more than likely is walking in her anointing. And it's that whole, you need to straighten up, because the fact that you are coming at me like this and I ain't did nothing to you, oh, this is gonna hurt you, baby. And well, I mean, again, Y'all real, stop being messy. You just had a message and you being messy. Stop it. Okay, all right. All right, I'm back. So anyway, trying to see where I was at in my notes. And then Destiny goes out and says, worry about pipping your daughter. Again, you are doing all this with the cameras there. This is not going to help you business wise. People are not going to want to associate with you when, and again, it's one thing for you to be a business person saying all this stuff and you're not in the mode of doing business. You are physically in your store doing this. Anyway, and then she goes into her back room, slams the door, trying to have a moment and whatnot. Letitia's, trying to check up on her. Now, Mel is on live. Now, I did not do a play by play of this, but I did watch Color Me Pink. Shout out to Keisha. I watched her channel, and she had the live. She did play by plays and merging everything together, getting accounts and whatnot. And you see in the moment, but you also saw when she was on live when she was being told to stop going live because they're in the middle of shooting this scene. Mel put her phone down, but she was still on live. I wasn't mad at her. Now, Mel addresses Bernard first and says, were you the one that was threatening me on live? Now, what Melody did is something that I've been known to do, because sometimes when you say to somebody, you did this, you did that, they immediately become defensive. But when you ask them a question, leading them to the answer, it makes it just a little bit better for you to get him to 1-2. I saw you, Mel. And he says, no, I didn't. And she was like, but wasn't that you on live with Wanda? And Wanda was like, yeah, he was on live with me. What's up? All this attitude, all this energy. Now, yes, Mel did not have the energy initially. This is one of those where here's all this energy before it well, energy is never destroyed, but before it kind of like levels out and dissipates and whatnot, it's there. And it's literally jumping from person to person. Bernard says, why would I have a problem with her? And Wanda says, you got a problem with her because I got one with her. The whole family thing. Mel asks her, what's her problem? Wanda bosses up. Now, there's a table between them because she's attempting to serve food. I'm talking about Wanda. And she says, since you asked me, and then Mel says, because I didn't come over here for your nasty showing up, probably doesn't taste good. And I'm saying, it's like, oh, Mel, you being shady. And again, this goes back to if I'm going to approach someone, even if it is on site, because this person is trying to do business, I would be like, can we go over here and have a conversation? You might want to remove the paraphernalia that has to do with your company, just in case things go. I'm just saying that's me being respectful, even if it is on site. I'm never trying to mess with nobody's coin. Okay, because again, I know you sow to the wind, you reap the whirlwind. So if I'm coming over here and even if it's not the intent of messing with your business, if I do that, that's me opening the door for somebody to come do that to me. I ain't about that. So Wanda says she didn't think that she would come over here for that, all this, and then says, sweetie. And Mel's like, don't call me sweetie. I'm not your sweetie. And she says, usually I respect my elders. And when somebody leaves off with that, you know the disrespect is coming. And Wanda says, your mama is right there. Let her join in. And this is kind of one of those things where it's just like, okay, well, if you don't want to, then since your mother and I are around the same age, your mother can address me. And it's very similar to when a man and a woman are getting into it, where typically the woman will be like, have your girl come address me, because you don't need to be addressing me, because like Dr. Heavenly, I don't argue with men. That whole type of thing, whatever. So, Mama Van says she's handling it. I don't need to jump in. Wanda says the reason I don't like you, and then she grabs her phone because she's trying to show her something that's in her phone. And Mel says the reason I'm stepping to you today is because you got a lot of ish to say on social media, and I'm in your face today. Say what you gotta say. What you're going to do is keep my children's name out of your mouth. And look, I'm here for the direct energy. All right, I'm here for her being very direct. Ain't no passive aggressive, nothing. Wanda, now, again, whenever stuff like this goes down, I'm always talking about energy and gestures, because regardless of what the intent was behind it, Wanda comes from behind the table and walks around to address Mel. Now, again, the amount of space that was between them with the table being there is roughly the same amount of space that was between them when Wanda walked around, but it was the act of walking around. Mind you, there was an aggressive nature to it, but even if it wasn't, doing certain things, it kind of gives off a certain perspective and energy. All right, back to the note. So she does that and says, "Let me tell you something," with the attitude and everything. So it's like, fuck it, here we go. Martell and Tisha are trying to calm the situation down. Now, one thing about this is Marceau is off to the side, and I'm jumping ahead ever so slightly because I didn't write it down. Martell is standing off to the side, peeping game, because his whole thing is, okay, because what happened is Tisha gets in between them, but she's talking, looking and talking directly to her mother. Martell is just trying to make sure nothing doesn't happen to Melody, because now you have Tisha, who's around the same age as his baby's mother, and then you have Tisha's mother right there. Could easily be a 2-on-1 if they wanted to go there. Marceau's whole thing is Martell has a history of, being very uncontrollable when he goes off the deep end. So he's standing there because and he's not far off. He's close enough where if it appears Martell is about to go left, I need to be able to jump in. Not necessarily to protect Wanda, but to protect his wife. Got it? Cool. Marceau is saying to Tisha, don't get between them, and says they need to go. Wanda tells us that Martell gave her the idea. This is in her confessional. Gave her the idea by going on Dr. Heavensley's show and insinuating that Mel had another baby father. And then she says to Mel in the moment, while stepping in her face, closing the gap. Again, y'all need to watch body language and what people do, and says, I said, blame your baby daddy. Now, hearing that, I got that. I do. Now, I didn't watch Wanda's live because I'm not watching Mama's. I'm not watching Wanda's live. I'm not doing all that. I ain't got time for all that. I can't have that in my energy. I barely can have this in my energy for the duration, because once this is done, I'm watch a couple reviews and I'm done for the day because I need to get this up off me. But if that's the case, she could, like, again, for those of y'all who watched Wanda's live, let me know if she made it clear to Mel that this came from your baby's father and all I'm doing is repeating it. Nevertheless, Mel says to her, back up. Martell kind of puts his hand up, not to touch, but just kind of throws his hands up and is very close to him, just kind of like, don't do that. Bernard then physically grabs Wanda on the shoulder, and now Wanda bucks up at Martell and pretty much is saying that, he would not put her hands on her. But again, she is so in the moment, she's not paying attention to the fact that Martell didn't touch her. Your brother, I believe Bernard's her brother, Bernard touched you, not Martell. And at this point, Martell now has his hands fully extended to create space between Melody and Wanda. So various people are trying to hold Wanda back. Now, here's something to pay attention to. When somebody is really, now I won't even say about that life, but when they really are trying to get at somebody, it's typically the people that are holding the person back that is real. If everybody's on one person, that's the person that's about to do something. And they knew Wanda was about to do something. Now, even though Mel was, very sternly, borderline aggressively saying her point, Melody did not come there for the physical. Mel stood in the same place, still continuing to talk her mess, right? And Mel tells her, go back to the other side to try. And Tisha just looks over and rolls her eyes like, girl, I mean, look, your husband said it first, Tisha. And all she doing is throwing it back out there. But Mel, Wanda did the same thing. Just threw back out there what your baby daddy said. Just saying. Anyway, so Letitia says to Marceau, she would not stand there and let someone cuss her mother out. And I understand that. But see, here's one of those things. This is where, okay, but as a child to your parent, and both of y'all are adults, both of y'all are grown, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, but are you not talking to your mother? Are you not telling your mom, you need to calm this down? Because what you're doing is inviting some extra drama, not only to you, because if it comes to you as your child, I'm going to have to jump in and defend you even in your bad behavior, but you're now bringing that to my immediate family that I helped create. And it's a whole lot of drama that we don't need. And I know a lot of people say they can't check their parents. Yes, you can. Now, if you don't want to use the word check, you can talk to your parents and let them know that they're wrong. Because here's the thing, just because you birthed me does not mean that you're right in everything. Period. And you can say that. It's when you don't say it and your parent believes they have the ability to overstep all boundaries in life that they will continue to do stuff like this. So she's saying to her husband, I'm not going to let somebody stand there and cuss my mother out. But nowhere in this are you trying to say, Mom, calm down. Mom, you're doing too much. Mom, use your words. Bring it down some. None of that's being done. Right? Okay. Marceau lets her know, if something happens to you, I'm going to jail. Because, and that wasn't if Mel, because even though he didn't say it, I guess he felt, because if Mel were to touch her, then at some point chaos will ensue. Martell's going to get involved, and now he has to get involved, and it's going to be a whole situation. People going to jail. Cool. Got it. And he says, I will do my best to protect your mom, but don't get in the middle. And I have to tip my hat to Marceau. Even though he did not help Wanda when they first got there, he did do as good of a job as he could trying to protect his mother-in-law. I will give him that. Mel and Mama Van are gearing to leave, even though they never do. Wanda is now in Madani, so they have physically removed her from the situation because she technically was. Mel did start the conversation, but in terms of who popped off with the energy, Wanda did. So they remove her, trying to calm her down. People are telling her this is not what you came here to do. Wanda says Martel needs to do a blood test, and because that's all I said, and he do need to do a blood test. Still popping off, and many of them are right. So she's inside Madani. The altercation has moved to right in front of Madani, so she can hear everything that's going on outside. Maurice is trying to calm her down in a very joking way, and Wanda says she came to my business trying to shut it down. I'ma shut her down. But if you know that she came over not to your business, but to an area where you're conducting business, if you knew that's why she came over there, you could have changed the energy and, as I said, move her away from the business. And you need to have somebody else there who can always tap in. You know, you might need to go to the bathroom or whatever, but Maurice does echo that momentarily. And she says, I'ma swing at her. Now you doing too much. Even if that's really what you want to do, but you doing too much. So Mel is outside saying there are boundaries that shouldn't be crossed, and if you don't, and they need to not be crossed if you don't want things going in the gutter. Totally agree. Even though, like I said, if we going at it, I don't give a damn. Ain't nothing off limits. So Wanda is trying to go outside, and Maurice is jokingly trying to keep her like, no, no. You clearly see the energy that she has. You just heard her say that she's going to swing on her. Technically, this really wasn't Maurice's job. But your job in this moment, since you took it upon yourself, is to keep your mama-in-law in there until the other parties leave. That is your main job. Wanda is saying she's trying to go to her vehicle, and Maurice says Bernard is out there. He got it. Which is, again, understandable. You stay in here, let the business happen. I can appreciate Maurice for that. Tisha says, in general, but Mel Harrison says her mother wasn't talking about no one's child. She was talking about her, meaning Melody. And I'm sitting here just like, why aren't you and Marceau in Madani with your mother? Why is it that your brother-in-law is having to calm and restrain your mother? Why aren't you in there with, at a minimum, your husband be in there? But why aren't, well, he wasn't in there because Tisha wasn't in there. You should have been in there with your mother, not trying to have no damn sidebars. See again, it's one of those where it's just like people's minds someplace else. Because I guess she's trying to defend her mama's honor, but in this moment, you need to worry about making sure your mom stays where she's at and keep her calm from doing something crazy because your mother, you know, she's unhinged. Anyway, Mel says she was still talking about the paternity of my child. Don't defend the bull. She's wrong. Facts. Tisha is saying Mel started it because Wanda mentioned her mother's baby father, which I'm just like, so you couldn't just say your daddy, being in her DM. So her mother said, you need to find out who your baby daddy is. It's about the mother and who the baby daddy is. And even though that is true, a child is still involved in it when you're talking about a child's paternity, especially the baby. So we know who this is talking about. And Martell says if he brought into question the paternity of one of their children, it's an issue, right? And they was like, yeah, he was like, it affects the kids. Marceau agrees. So Martell's just like, so that's that on that, which is a fact. And I don't know the age of their youngest child, but even with the other children, this is all on TV, this is on the internet and whatnot. We're in a very digital age where everything is on social media. Kids can be cyberbullying and whatnot. So you literally are involving the kids unknowingly because this come out. Your mama don't know who your baby sisters, baby daddy. They're like all of that. It creates so much. So in this moment, I have to give Martell something because I don't give him much. Destiny tells one. Hold on, wait. Did I jump ahead? Hold on, y'all. So Wanda says she's not going outside to say anything. Maurice tells her, "Okay, tuck your phone away." Destiny says, "Take off from the back door." I don't like the fact that she said take off. Wanda says, "Y'all don't trust me." Maurice made a face like, "Hell no, I don't." And she says, "Trust me this one time." I hope they be like, "Never the hell again." Marceau says to Martel, the parents should be off limits. Should be. But again, these are things y'all established early on with boundaries. Y'all ain't did that. And he's like, they should be off limits too. And says Tisha's father wasn't talking ish. So why is he being brought up? Mel says in her confessional, go low, I'm going to hell. And I put here, is Wanda not doing the same thing? So again, and y'all know my stance on a lot of this. So again, there's some grace that I am giving her. Some. Marceau says to Mel, you told me you can't affect the fallout of what someone says, so just say nothing. Which is so what he's saying is if somebody says or does something, if you then insert yourself and start saying something, you can't affect or control how that other person responds. But it's the same thing if Mel responds. So I get it, but what you're literally trying to do, Marceau, is saying if my mother-in-law just start talking, just let her talk her shit. I'm sorry, that's not how this go, bro. So they, for the most part, are truly getting past this. Like there's an understanding. Like this is all about to calm down. And we see that Maurice is physically with them. So now we know, okay, well, if he's outside with them, that means Wanda then went out the back. So Wanda is running around, not walking around, running around. Again, watch people energy. Mama Van says there needs to be boundaries. And Tisha yells, on both sides. I'm sorry, on both ends. But my thing is, Mama Van was talking very calmly to you. Why are you, again, it has nothing to do with Mama Van being older than you, but why are you yelling at her? Why are you even giving her that energy? No, you're mad because they want you to sit here and check your mama and you ain't got the you know what to do it. That's what it is. So Wanda now runs up. Someone tries to stop her and it appears she was trying to get physical with either Mel or Mama Van, but Mama Van pushes her because she don't want her touching her daughter. Hey, look, let the senior citizens fight. Damn it. So Wanda is yelling, bring it on. She ain't gonna disrespect me. And Destiny says, y'all made a mockery of my event. I know the hell you lying. Now, the jokes and the shade writes itself. They made a mockery of your event. Girl, you made a mockery of your event by having it and the doors not being open after this event. You made a mockery. You made a mockery of this event by having your employee to go and handle a situation that you should have bossed up and handle. You made a mockery of your event by saying to Melody, you should say hi next time you walk to somebody's establishment as she's leaving rather than say it in the moment. Ma'am, you did this. You did this. And you also knew having one that was going to cause some bull. You did this. Anyway, they got me mad. Shit. Mel wants to know what she said. Destiny repeats it. Tisha is asking her mom, are you really trying to fight someone? Did you not see her maneuver to do it? But see, this is one of those where you see this building. There were moments in time where it could have been nipped in the bullet and we don't get here because there becomes a point to where you can't stop certain, like once the wheels are in motion, you can't stop that train from moving. It's gone. It's moving, baby. So Wanda says she will drag her ass. Okay. Kimmy is telling Wanda, this ain't it. Wanda says, I didn't say nothing to you, meaning Melody. All I said on my social media was find your baby daddy. So if that's talking about the kids, so be it. Okay, good. We standing in our ish. But if you really wanted to say that to her, you could have reached out and said something to her. But you knew what you were doing by putting it on social media. But again, hey, you going low, I'm going low with you. Okay, look, now we in hell. It is what it is at this point. Ain't nothing, like I said, for me, ain't nothing off limits. And so if we go in there, just know, ain't nothing off limits. I'm going there. So anyway, so then Wanda is angrily, in an angry sense, trying to prepare food, and I wouldn't eat it. Like if somebody doesn't have the right energy while cooking the food or serving the food, I don't want it. Cause I'm sorry, I'm all about energy, and I do believe that energy can transfer. But also, if I'm in an agitated state, I can't eat because the food is not gonna be pleasant to my body. Marceau is saying to Martel, don't talk about nobody because when you're talking about someone's kid. Man, keep that. Because what he's saying is, in talking about Wanda, Wanda is somebody's child. And talking about Tisha is somebody's child. Marceau, if you don't sit your arm trying to be philosophical ass the fuck down. Martell says, when someone says something about not someone's kid, meaning an adult. When someone says something about a kid, it's about a kid, not someone's kid. How he's trying to distinguish this. Marceau is trying to defend Wanda, saying that she was talking about Mel. Now, both Maurice and Martel is saying, no, she was talking about the child. And even during the scene of them shooting this day, Wanda literally had just said something. Martel is hearing the bullshit that Marceau was trying to say. He puts his hand up, tries to walk away, and at one point, part of the side of his hand does touch Marceau's chest. It's just like, let me walk away, and just a slight push. Now Marceau said, is angrily saying, I'm gonna talk about what I want to talk about. It was at that moment. Now, it wasn't that Marceau said, don't touch me. You like, I'm going to keep on talking. And you didn't have to say that. You could have just kept saying what you was saying. Whatever. Martell then turns around because it's like, oh, that's what we doing. And then Maurice, Mighty Mouse, gets in between and now is, putting his hands up to like, hey, let's not do this. Martell pretty much gestures to move him out the way. And then this is when all chaos ensues. Because like I said, Maurice was trying to keep Martell from advancing, and Martell pushes him out the way. Chaos ensues. Both Maurice and Martell are trying to get Buck. Martell is the only one that was physically being restrained because you had Kimmy saying to Maurice, don't do this because he's still rational. Marceau is still trying to get his bearings. Marceau clearly sees, oh, I'm not being restrained. Oh, because y'all know typically when a fight is really getting juicy and people see there's security there or one person being restrained, that's when it's let me try to gesture like I'm finna be about that life and I ain't about that motherfucking life. He wasn't about that life. And he's trying to make it seem like I'm trying to get loose. I'm trying to get away. Like, don't touch me. If you really wanted to get to Martell, you would have got to Martell. if you really was trying to get to Martel. But Martel was trying to get to you. Martel breaks away, and this is why I say it. Martel was trying to get at him because Martel breaks away, and I think the optics was for Martel. It's two of y'all versus one of me. Oh hell no! And then Marceau is hot because he done made himself hot, and Wanda of all people is trying to calm him down. Now I do understand Marceau in this moment where when you are pissed, the last thing you need is for someone to tell you to calm down. I've been there. Because I've been in the moment recently within the last year where I had like somebody got buck with me, I popped off and I'm being told calm the fuck down, and that made me more mad because it's like, how about you talk to the motherfucker that is literally aggravating this situation? Like, don't tell me calm down. If anything, let's be like, hey y'all, let's go outside. Like, don't tell me calm the fuck down. And then Wanda said he touched him. He like, don't touch me. And again, I get it. Cause look, if I'm agitated or irritated, please keep your DNA to yourself. Don't touch me. I don't need none of you touching none of me. Destiny is asking for Mel to bring the car around. Because at first I thought it was Mel Nika, but it was actually Destiny to bring the car around and send to Martel. Martel, just get in the car. Just leave. It like, let's break up the situation. And then she even says like, I ain't even in the store yet. And y'all can get me kicked out. Which further leads me to believe that this was all stunts and shows. But that was the episode. I gave y'all over 45 minutes. So I'm gonna watch some other people's reviews. I'm gonna put this up. Y'all let me know what y'all saw, how y'all felt, if y'all on anybody's team, and do y'all understand? Because again, I gave y'all as much of a play-by-play as I possibly could. So that's all that I have. So please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure you guys come back on Monday for the Whether You Like It or Not panel where we discuss Bell Collective Reunions Part 1 and 2 and Real Housewives of Potomac. And I will see you all for Potomac. Peace out.